Hello Stampers, my name is MJ Owens and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the US. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I am so excited. Today's my first video. I made this lovely thank you card. I've been watching YouTube and all over YouTube is this hinge stamping with the new stamp tool from Stampin' Up! Called the Stamparatus, and I've been kind of intrigued by all the different ideas that the ladies have come up with. And so this card I decided I would make for you on today's video. The card pieces that we're going to be using today is Tranquil Tide, and that's cut at 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. 2 pieces of vanilla, and they're cut at 5 1/4 by 4, one for the inside and one for the outside, and a piece of scrap black, and I used probably a size about 4.5 by 4, and that's to cut out the dragonfly. The stamp sets we're going to be using today are Abstract Impressions, which is a new stamp set that just came out in the new catalog, and I'm going to be using Kindness Changes Everything for the inside of the card. And the other stamp set is Daisy Delight. It carried over from last year's catalog, and I'm going to be using the thank you for your kindness and the 2 little flowers up here in the corner. And of course the detailed Dragonfly Thinlit, and I'm using the largest dragonfly to cut that out for the front of the card. Okay, let's get started. Oh, I'm going to use a little bit of Wink of Stella on the dragonfly, and that's to give him a little extra shimmer. And then the stamp pads that we're going to be using today are Mint Macaron and Tranquil Tide, and they look lovely together. Okay, I think the first thing we're going to do is stamp the inside of the card and get that out of the way. So let's get the Tranquil Tide out. This is the old style stamp pad. I haven't got the new one in my order yet. And let's get the stamp. Oh, let me reach my clear block. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's get that mounted. Kindness changes everything. Okay. Make sure I have enough ink on there, and then we'll get it as straight as I can without leaning over the camera. And I'm not putting a whole lot of pressure, but you do have to give the ink enough time to transfer onto the paper. Oh, that turned out quite lovely. We'll set that aside for, oh, before we set that aside, let's go ahead and do our little stamp in the corner. Put it right down here in the corner. And that looks quite good, just to leave it like that. But what I think I'll do, since I'm using the 2 colors of inks, is go ahead and fill it in with the Mint Macaron. So let's get this out of the way. This is the new style ink pad, and I just love them. They open like a compact and then just slide open. Okay, I stamp off once so it's not quite so dark. And then I just stamp over my little flower in the corner, and that gives it just enough color. Looks quite good. Okay, now we can set this aside. Okay, let me go ahead and close up the mint macaron because we're not going to use that for a minute. Okay, I'm going to bring in the Stamparatus. Get the pierce mat out of the way. And we don't need this extra plate. I just wanted to show you that it comes with 2 plates, so you can put, you can put a stamp on either side and then have a possibility of stamping a 3-step stamp or any other kind of, you know, like if you want to have 4 stamps, then you can have that all at one time and not have to be remounting your stamps constantly. So that's really a good feature of the Stamparatus. Okay, I've mounted my stamp, so let's put the cardstock in the corner. And these magnets are very, very strong. I just need to use one, I think, with this. We're going to use the Tranquil Tide for the largest sentiment. Thank you. Okay. Then after you line up your stamp on your paper, you fold this over onto the stamp and it picks it up, and then you can ink it. So I'm not applying a whole lot of pressure. Again, you just got to give the stamp enough time to transfer the ink to the paper. Then the beauty of hinge stamping is you just move this down 1 hinge and re-ink. Okay. And then one more time. Isn't that quite lovely? Now I'm going to move the magnet to the top since I'm going to be going towards the bottom. It might make it a little bit easier. So move it down, re-ink. And one more time. There are so many good videos out there on YouTube about hinge stamping. Well, just using the Stamparatus in general. It is such a phenomenal tool. I love it. Okay, there's our thank you. So I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to wipe this off a little bit so I don't get ink all over myself, which is quite normal. Okay, so then I put For Your Kindness out of the Daisy Delight stamp set, and put it right below the thank you. So we'll move this down. We're going to switch colors to the mint macaron. And this is such a tiny little stamp. When you're going to stamp a very small stamp like this, I've found that you can't press too hard because it'll smear the little detail. So just a little bit is all it needs, a little pressure, giving it time to transfer the ink. And that looks quite good. Okay. And then we're going to move this down 1 hinge, re-ink the stamp, You notice I got ink from the pad, but it won't transfer. A little more pressure right there. There, that looks good. One more time. Try not to press too hard because you do end up getting ink everywhere. It's a balancing act. You don't want to press too hard for too much ink, but you have to get enough ink on there to get a good image. Okay, do it again. Oops. Let's go ahead and move the magnet up to the top since we're stamping at the bottom again. Maybe a little bit more pressure right there. Okay, that looks good. And the last one. Just want to make sure I have ink all over the stamp. Okay, thank you for your kindness. And that looks good. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and wipe this off again. I don't want to get ink all over myself, my card. We'll move the Stamparatus out of the way. And close up the mint macaron. I think we're done with our stamping. So what we're going to do next, I think we'll go ahead and fold the card base. Give it a good burnish. And we're going to adhere the inside of the card. And I'm just going to use the Tombow glue today. I have it here handy on my table. And it's a permanent ink. I just try to get close to the edges, moving the ink, the glue, permanent ink. It's a permanent glue, sorry about that. And I just want to get close enough to the edges and put a little in the middle. You don't need very much glue at all. And I'll get this as straight as I can. That looks nice. And then let's go ahead and do the outside of the card. So let's put this on first. Well, actually, I pre-cut my Dragonfly to save a little time. I ran it through the Big Shot with the die. And what we're going to do now is put the Wink of Stella on so it'll give it a second to dry while I'm gluing down the cardstock here. Wink of Stella dries pretty fast, but I want to give it a couple of minutes. Just gives our little guy just enough shimmer. I don't know if you can see it on camera, the shimmer. So let him dry a second. Okay, let's go ahead and adhere this to the front of the card. Whoa. I want to get it straight as possible. Okay. That looks good. And he's going to go, I don't want the wings to hang over the edge. Let's give it another little burnish here and make it lay flatter. And then I fold up the wings just a tiny bit. You don't want to crease it, you just want to give it a little extra texture there. And then when I mount him on the front of the card, I'm going to just leave a little bit on the sides here, so I want to kind of balance him on wing to wing on the edge of the card so he's not hanging over. Just use a little bit of Tombow, don't need much. And then I think I'll put him more towards the bottom. Okay, that looks quite good. On the sample card, I put 3 pearls in the middle of the dragonfly. So on this one, I don't know if I'll do that or not. If I'm going to mail these, it makes it a little bit bulky to mail, so I do have to put something extra in the envelope to kind of keep that from getting caught in the mail machines that they use. So that's with the pearls, and that's without the pearls. Or maybe you could find some really flat, like little, real tiny little rhinestones to give a little extra sparkle. So there you have it. That's my first card, my first video. I do hope you like this video, and I hope you give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Like I said, I'm new at this. I made a few blunders, but I will get better. I'm looking forward to doing some more videos. It's so exciting for me. And if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to earn your business. I'm going to work hard at trying to build up a customer base. And I will link everything below the video with all the products, all the sizes, and the link to my online store. So I hope you have a blessed day, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.